And we're live. Hello, good afternoon, everybody, at belated Happy Valentine's Day to all who celebrate. And if you don't, this stream's for you. Joke. This stream, after this stream, baka may baon ka ng tips and tricks on how to meet people online. So if you've become a regular at our Thursday hangouts, welcome back. At kung bago ka lang dito, magpapakilala muna kami. Kami ang Puma Podcast. We are an audio production company based in Metro Manila. And we have over 40 shows with topics ranging from Philippine history, women in sports, music, the news, obviously, for this show, and more. And ako si Ella. Ako si Ella from the Puma Podcast comms team. If you've ever engaged with us on social media before, ako ang kausap niyo doon. So, hello. Now there's a face to the Puma Podcast voice that you're always interacting with. Joining us also today is another one of our teammates, si Bubbles. Bubbles, do you want to introduce yourself to
Of
our
course.
lovely viewers?
Of course. Thank you, Ella. Hello, everybody. Belated Happy Valentine's Day, or if you didn't celebrate, Blessed Ash Wednesday to all of you, to our Catholic friends out there. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this Thursday afternoon. I'm Bubbles Matpayo. I am the admin officer of Puma Podcast, and we're live here in our Thursday hangout. So we hope that you enjoy the entire episode.
Good. All right. Thanks, Bubbles. Here also is another new member of our team, si Ed Paraon, who wrote the episode from Monday, which we're going to be talking about today, ang
Mhm.
Discord e-dating. Na-try mo na ba? Welcome, Ed.
Hi guys, and thanks for inviting me to this live stream. Yes, I'm Ed Faraon. I'm the newest reporter for Teka Teka News. Um, siguro what I can say, I'm the newest Gen Z reporter of the team. So I really wanted to do this story for Valentine's Day because I felt like Discord dating was something that was very relevant to my generation. So I wanted to explore, how do Gen Zs flirt and love
Ooh.
online. This is something I have personally experienced. But also, ayun, I mostly do youth stories. So, check that out in the future. Stay tuned kung ano ba yung mga stories na i-cover ko about education, youth, and other social issues na very concerned yung mga kabataan ngayon.
Yes, thank you so much, Ed. So for context, we have several generations with us today on the stream. So Ed, as he mentioned, is Gen Z. I am a millennial, na culturally Gen Z. I went to college with Gen Z kids. And si Bubbles, gusto ko ikaw yung mag-age reveal.
Gen X. Gen X. Yeah. Gen X. Ano na ako? Tail end of Gen X. Medyo cusp of millennial. Yeah. So, medyo
All right.
na nagagrasp ko pa yung mga millennial stuff.
All right. So, ang tinawag natin sa stream na to ay kung telebabad ngayon, Discord kung telebabad
Noon.
noon, Discord naman ngayon. I took inspiration from that from Bubbles reposting Ed's story on Twitter on the app formerly known as Twitter. Bubbles, can you like set the scene for us a little bit? Like
Mhm.
how did Gen X, flirt and get to know each other on before the internet? Baka may mga other Gen Z na nanonood eh.
Okay. Well, I cannot believe I'm saying this on a live, but nung panahon ko, nung panahon ko, we usually meet people like crushes or yung mga natitipuhan namin either in school, of course, lalo na if you're in a co-educational, school, whether it's high school or middle school or whatever the case may be. Or minsan friends ng friends from another group or friends ng mga cousins, ganyan. So we usually see that person or those who we like in person na, yung talagang nakikita na nakakausap mo and then you get their landline numbers kasi wala pa namang cellphones noon. So yung landline, if for those who have not seen one, it's this phone na naka-attach sa wall na may box na maliit na ganyan. So you use that Dati may rotary, tapos naging yung dipindot, and then now, the emergence of mobile phones and smartphones, nag-evolve na siya eventually. But yeah, we usually meet the people that we like to date or natitipuhan in person. Yun, ganun nung time ko.
So it's never going to be, parang I don't imagine it na parang you're going to dial some random number on the phone and be like, hello, pwede ba ako magpakilala? I'm looking to date. Ganyan. It's not gonna be like that, right? Or
No,
unless
no.
she's dating with gangster moment ka na nag-wrong send ka or tapos naging friend mo,
No,
gano'n.
but well, although nangyayari yan ha, kasi we used to have, guys, we used to have these books called the directory.
The
May
yellow
white one,
pages.
the yellow pages and the white pages. So yung white pages for residential yon. So lahat ng mga may landline noon, naka-record yung mga numbers sila. Wala pa yatang Data Privacy Act noon. So naka-record lahat ng numbers, ng mga pangalan. So alphabetical to. So lahat ng cruise. Yan, dire-diretso yan. Hanapin mo yung pangalan. Usually, it's the parent's name eh. Kasi it's under their subscription. So, it's the parent's name. So, makikita mo. I still remember our old landline. My gosh. Natatandaan ko
So
pa
you're
to.
also like even if you called, kunwari nahanap mo yung number ng crush mo sa white pages at sigurado ka ito yon.
Na yun.
You're also at the risk of like having to introduce yourself to their
Yes.
parents. Like, hi,
Mm-mm.
ako si Ella. Pwede ko bang kausapin si... So, it was a lot more difficult to do to meet strangers, diba, through these like little bits of technology. So Ed mentioned nga na he has experience sa Discord. Tell us about the landscape there na parang are there servers specifically dedicated to people looking to date? Do you meet people in the communities that you're already working in or playing in? Paano yun?
I mean, look, Discord servers are so easy to join. It's very easy to meet new people on Discord. There's loads of sites which lists out public servers you can join, and you can select ano ba yung interests mo. Are you interested in anime? Are you interested in music? You want to find a community that loves sports, memes, ganyan. So it's very easy to connect. And dahil nga doon, meron tinatawag na server hopping. I don't think I mentioned this in the episode. So there's this phenomenon called server hopping where you just join random numbers of random servers. Tapos siguro mapapansin ng mga admin, bigla na lang silang magli-leave dun sa server na yun after joining within like 5 minutes of it kasi siguro walang nag-engage. So ayun, server hopping from one server to another until they find a community that they can call their home. And on the context naman in Discord dating, siguro hanggang sa mahanap nila yung right one for them, makahanap ng initial engagement para makahanap ng relationship dun sa server na yun. At least that's what server hopping is in that context. But I also talked about dun sa episode about how it's there are very much similarities with real life, how people interact online and in both in the real life. Parang ultimately, ako personally, my view is the interactions offline, they just take on a different medium online, di ba? So siguro yung telebabad na sinasabi din ninyo noon.
Makes it sound so ancient.
What we call today, it's sleep call. It was briefly mentioned in the episode. So, what you do, hanggang siguro mga 7 a.m. in the morning, or siguro mag-movie night muna kayo, 11 p.m., ganyan. Tapos, magta-transform yung call into a private call na where no one else can join. And then, ewan ko kung by intent, tutulugan mo na lang, intently not leaving, 'di ba? Para dun lang kayo the entire night and then pagising nyo, uy, nasa call pa kayo pareho. I mean, one of my interviews said, napakaibang feeling nun nung maiwan sa call together, kayong dalawa lang. Tapos parang when you both wake up, good morning, ganyan. Tapos narinig kitang humihilik. those are cute interactions that they share when doing sleep calls. So ayun, those are some of the few interactions that I'm familiar with when it comes to Discord dating.
Okay, pero my question, I guess, is parang, people who not turn to but find love on Discord, especially mga teenagers, ganyan. Parang what were you able to ask what the home life situation is? Is it parang bawal kasi ako magka-boyfriend, so like let's remove the in real life na, because let's face it, parents aren't really monitoring the internet usage of their kids now. Eh. So
Mhm.
because this partner of yours is not somebody na, hindi mo siya kasama sa labas. So hindi mo siya kailangan ipakilala sa magulang mo. Is that something that people take into consideration, or is that the reason kaya that that these kids are dating on Discord?
Well, certainly that could be a factor, na well, one of the interviewees I had in the episode, the sociologist going by Ash Presto, going into these relationships, you have to consider yung cultural factors, religion, age, gender, tapos yung socioeconomic backgrounds, kung ano yung mga motivations sila on going on these platforms also, and yung kanilang siguro what we say, uh, internet, how how uh, how digitally literate there are. So
Mhm.
yun, you also have to consider that. Tapos, but people who do go on Discord to date, I think uh, one of my interviewees also told me na what motivates them to date is yung sense na there's a feeling of a safe space created. Parang you're so far away from me. I can tell you anything kasi you're not gonna do anything naman eh. What are you gonna do? You're thousands of miles away, diba? So
Mm-mm.
I can share you this information, and then I will have my safe space. You can have your the same safe space, and then it can blossom from there. So that's one of the ways that someone can have a relationship there.
And do they recognize then yung risks of engaging in these relationships online? Kasi na-imagine ko, when you say safe space, it's not just a matter of para, oh, I feel comfortable and secure sharing this information with you kasi ang layo mo. It's also like for me, iniisip ko is, well, if anything, I think a lot of people tend to worry na about the physical safety also. Na parang, oh, because you're so far away, parang you can't do anything to me. Like, gets ba? Parang, is that something na that's a risk that gets removed in the dating scenario because the interaction is online?
As to if it's a risk, I think it's definitely a risk, right? Also, kasi it's actually pretty alarming. It's a snippet of it I actually used in the internet safety story that also came out today. Kasi it's this Discord e-dating is also related to internet safety. Also, in the Discord dating episode, we also covered online predation. So this barrier of this physical barrier is removed. Tapos, na-embolden yung parang may anonymity, tapos na-embolden yung parang mga tao na pumapasok sa Discord dating scene also to groom people and to manipulate people. So those are things that we have to be wary about in the dating scene online. People who are really looking to manipulate you.
May question ako tuloy about, that aspect of anonymity. Ngayon na especially people are having easy access to like simpler forms of AI, ano kaya ang understanding ng mga teenagers, especially on parang people who are able to fake their identity, even, with like a filter or whatever, voice modulation. Because that's something that you brought up also in the first episode, right? Yung voice modulation and catching catfishers, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Parang how are these communities being moderated against people like that, people who are using technology in that way?
Right. Really interesting. Kasi I did get the perspectives of the moderators of these servers on Discord. And itong mga online communities, napansin ko, when they have this genuine connection, this genuine friendly interactions among each other, they form a band. They band together to fight or to remove predators from their communities. They integrate reporting mechanisms. They really yung na-interview ko na isang server owner, though not included in the episode, ginagawa din nila, nag-i-interview sila when a person joins their server, ini-interview nila, they invite them to a voice call to know who they are. So, their members can feel safe. And then uh, in the episode, we also talked about how this server admin, she's referred to as the ate of the Discord server. So she shared really useful tips for those who want to go on the dating scene, such as, hey, kung gusto ka talaga nitong person na to, mag-on cam siya, wag siyang matakot na magpakita,
Mm-mm.
'di ba? Kasi this is an online space, 'di ba? Napakadaming risk, and it's not about they don't trust you. It's just that you really have to keep yourself safe out there.
Mm.
Aside from that, yung magpakita ka, pwede ka mag-social media investigation. Ano ba yung including doon? Sabi niya, pwedeng when you add them on Facebook, tingnan mo talaga kung may relatives ba siyang nagla-like sa kanyang mga share. Puntahan mo yung mga tag photos nila, sila ba rin ba yung nandun sa tag photos? Just to make sure that they are the real person, so that you could avoid catfishing. Kasi catfishing, that's a whole nother problem. And I know it's been I, I think that's a problem naman na both in the offline setting. Halimbawa, sa mga pen pal, ewan ko, kung you lied to me on what you sent, what you wrote me, di ba? So, these safety mechanisms are there. And you have to also keep yourself safe by equipping yourself with the right siguro knowledge on that.
Great. So, Bubbles, may question tayo dito. Ano ang
Okay.
katumbas ng grooming sa panahon ng Gen X? Di
Grooming
ba,
sa panahon ng Gen
yeah, so
X.
like, di
Okay.
ba, grooming, it's usually parang an older person who's influencing
Mm-hmm.
a younger person to, correct me if I'm wrong, Ed, about the definition, parang influencing a younger person or siguro somebody a little less learned into parang fitting into
Right.
what they desire. So because mas I guess like in real world yung mga relationships before the internet, parang what were your observations about dating and those kinds of power dynamics and power imbalances back then?
Well, kasi ako naman, for based on my experience, yung mga age differences kasi ng yung mga tao, well, in my generation when they used to date, Gen X type of dating is yung mga age gaps kasi hindi ganun, it's not too far off, I guess. However, and dahil ngayon identified na what grooming is and how it works, na parang if before hindi to nako-call out, ngayon parang masyado na tong identified, and pag sinabing, I met her when she was 14 years old, boom, 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 red flag na yon. Pero
Right.
noon, if I was 14 and I met a friend of my cousin who's 17 or 18, walang kaso. I mean, kasi kaibigan siya ng cousin ko. Parang I know that my cousin can vouch for this person. Pero, kasi ako, I did not grow up having friends or friends of friends na masyadong malayo yung age gap namin. It's usually just 3 years older than me, or a little about a year older than me. Hindi ganun kalalayo. And kung hindi ko ma-pinpoint if there is such na katumbas yung grooming. Pero ano kasi yan parang hindi mo siya basta ma-identify noon eh. I guess it's more of ngayon kasi parang may awareness na of
Right.
what grooming is about, and what's red flag about these kinds of relationships and these kinds of interactions na nakikita na natin right now.
So, meron tayong comments dito sa YouTube from Siege. Millennials like me, haha, will remember how innocent and fun Omegle used to be. Seemed back in the day, and it got
Mm-hmm.
dangerous real fast. Then there were also people who used the platform to try and catch predators. yeah, that's another like prime example. So I'm around the same age as Siege. So that was one of the parang I think that was one of the first platforms that I was aware of na parang very anonymous talaga. Anonymous,
Mm-hmm.
you would never give your name. Parang wala rin yatang accounts on Omegle dati, if I remember correctly. Pero yun, I think that was, I think, one of the first experiences that millennials had with that kind of interactions. And then parang swerte mo na lang if, if you were a young kid and you got booted off the internet by your parents, di mo
Mm-mm.
na matatapos yung conversation na yun. Parang, right?
Right.
And then Siege also says na despite yung safety precautions that Ed mentioned earlier about sharing photos, going on video, even people who use their names and photos can be predators, all the more with anonymity.
Right.
Diba?
Yeah,
Hindi mo kilala
definitely.
eh. Diba? Parang, especially now that we have these tips and tricks na parang, hanapin mo yung Facebook nila, find their other social
Mm-mm.
media, or check their
Mm-mm.
Discord, ganyan. Parang, how do you know that this isn't something that's like completely manufactured by this person? Or like yung baho nila is something na tinatago nila
Mm-mm.
uh, to not come out on social media. Uh, may question dito from Anna. Okay, Ed, I think you might be able to answer this one. For our introvert friends, what's a low pressure way to explore these spaces? So,
Yeah.
we talk about safety issues, the risks and all that. But syempre, there are a lot of people who found success on these platforms. What's a good low pressure way to start exploring these for themselves?
Ako, I'm an introvert myself as well. I joined Discord servers, find more communities online. I like doing that. Uh, Siguro if I don't want to put myself out there to as napakaingay. What I would do, to be low key, hey, just send something in the general chat, just a general query. Tanong mo, hi po, may Swifties po ba dito? You'll get responses based on
Yeah.
your interests. So, just uh, try to start a conversation based na kung saan ka interested talaga, be genuine, be authentic, and that's actually another thing na pinoint out nung isa nating naging interviewee na kung papasok ka sa Discord dating scene, and also if you just want to find friends online, just be your genuine self online.
Right.
Dun nga sa chat mo. Kasi you're going to be passionate about it. You're going to attract people who like the same interest, and then you're going to build better friendships with that.
Okay, moving from that point, how do you tell if your interactions with somebody is friendship lang talaga or if they are looking for more? Another question.
Siguro if that question is trying to also ask, how do you know if someone's, already
Interested.
interested in you, falling in love on Discord? Um, what they would do is, uh, verbatim, sinabi din ng interviewee ko, you'd notice na their voice starts to change when you enter the voice call. Their interactions, the way they type, you'd notice the small things na parang, oh, nandito si ganito, I need to impress this. Ganun yung feeling sa kanila. So, you'd notice these small things. Aside from that, siguro, yung mga personal sa DMs nyo, lilipat kayo sa DMs, mag-chat kayo. Uy, I found this interesting, ganyan. Or tatawa-tawa kayo over private messaging, joking about what's happening in the server call, while chatting each other, something funny, joking about the current call. Tapos, just moving along towards the conversation of, hey, what do you think of, the dating scene right now? What are you looking for when you join this server? Tapos, ha ha ha, me too, ganyan, diba? So it starts there.
Okay, so going from there naman, I guess parang a question that I want to ask is how do you what are some safety measures or like when do you decide to meet up with this person to confirm who they are? What are some things that you need to remember for yourself to be safe? Parang who do you tell diba, may question dito from Bella na, I remember when dating apps weren't as mainstream yet, there was stigma around them. Is there stigma around these Discord servers as well? So, unahin muna natin itong tanong ni Bella and then let's move into the safety and
Siguro,
who do you tell?
who do you tell muna?
Hindi,
Uh,
yung kay Bella muna, yung stigma
yung
around the servers.
stigma, I really can't say na if there's a stigma, but what I noticed from my own personal interactions at least is that, and if it's a genuine, a friendly, a tight knit community on Discord, they'd be very happy na, uy, nag-meet up sila. Ganyan.
Mm-hmm.
Ganun yung feeling at least for the tight knit communities. Um, so but I understand where the stigma is coming from na don't meet up, stranger danger, ganyan. I definitely understand that because we did cover the risk of stranger danger then. But also, if you're sure in your heart na this community, you feel safe in it, the people here won't hurt you at all, uh then the feeling of when you send a picture na, hey, we're here together, selfie, ganyan, sa ganitong popular na lugar or local mall, ganyan. You know, people would be very happy kasi, uy, finally nag-meet up na sila, ganyan. Sinong next? Tapos, maybe they could also organize meet up. Because I want to share a personal experience about this. I was in a server, and then we formed because of gaming. We're all gamers, and then they're from uh one was from Davao, one was from Leyte, one was from Surigao, one was from Canada, and then one sa Manila. Tapos parang nung umuwi yung taga Canada, nag yung ibang mga nasa Manila nag-meet up ganyan. So it's a fun feeling na kapag nakikita-kita yung mga members ng server. So siguro yun nga, just to go back, it's important to know that you're safe. Alam mo sa sarili mo na you're safe with this community before meeting up.
Safety in numbers nga. So like ako my experience with like engaging with online communities is, so I'm a P-pop stan. I'm a big fan of couple of P-pop groups, and kapag may gig sila, you meet up with your moots, your mutuals, ganyan, and parang you're part of you see people, they're part of group messages, and you kind of have an idea of what they look like. But also, parang, I don't know if maybe it's just because it hasn't been a long time that my sisters and I have been part of this community. But a lot of the time, they'll refer to each other as their screen names muna. So I like you, kung ang screen name mo is like a play on words ng favorite member mo, you greet them by that name, right? Parang a lot of people don't really know yung real name, kahit nickname man lang, unless like super tagal nyo ng friends, magkakilala na kayo, you've met up in real life. You also, parang what I've learned from observing and being a part of these spaces is parang, maybe as much as you can, try to stick with people who are closer to your age than farther. Kasi even if, di ba, kahit sabihin mo, kunwari ako yung ate, it's not just about how like, oh, ako safe ako, diba? It's about how the other person might feel being friends with somebody with such a huge age gap from them. I think it's super important na you ask the other person that you're interacting with na okay lang ba that, we're talking like this. If you feel uncomfortable, feel free to, ask me to keep my distance. Parang it's just as much a part of your responsibility to be a safe space for that other person, right? May comments sa YouTube, share ko lang, my best and worst relationship experiences began with online communication. Something that's probably true for our generation because we're so online. Try and be as safe as you can online as you are on the internet. Offline, sorry. What do you think, Ed, my question, what do you think good guidelines or a personal code would be for safety in terms of information shared with an online contact that you've never met before? So how much is too much that you can share?
How much is too much?
What are
Um,
some things that okay lang, you can share these things, and then what's not? Even in pictures, diba? Parang what can you share, what can you not share?
sa akin, it's also gauging the I mean, really understanding also the risk of being doxed, if you're
Ooh.
familiar with the term doxed.
Can you
So
explain it
a quick
for the
a quick Google search here. Docs search for and publish private or identifying information about a particular individual on the internet, typically with malicious intent. So if you think this information will be used against you with a malicious intent, uh, short doxed. If you think you will be doxed because of this information, just try to not share that information. If especially to consider your data privacy. I think that's also very valuable. I think I'm seeing that also with Generation Alpha. They're very protective of data privacy. People, the minors that I've interviewed, they really don't like sharing their real names. I talk to them with their aliases, and then yung profile picture nila they really don't share their ano. So of course this isn't everyone in the Generation Alpha. We also have to consider na some also do still put their profile pictures out there. But just going back to the question, it's just keeping in mind na yung information na to, will this information be used against me with the malicious intent? So I think that's a good starting question to share what information you should be sharing.
Sa akin, ang things that you should not share is, for example, like obviously your address, your bank details, like even the name of your bank, right? Like don't tell them where you bank. Kasi if you are close enough na, for example, alam nila yung first name, last name mo, that's bala rin yan eh, di ba? Also, like, where you work, your company,
Mhm.
that's super important na hindi malaman ng ibang tao. It's also like for your own, it's also for the protection of your company, di ba? Uh, something that I'm seeing online, sa Instagram, people are posting stories from Reddit. So doon ako nagbabasa. Even simpleng the outside of your house, kahit walang house number, it's so easy to find things on Google search now.
Mhm. Right.
Even the inside of your house. If you are the kind of person na mahilig mag-live or mag-Instagram, post pictures of the inside of your house, that's super dangerous. Um, kasi now, if they find out where you live, they also know the layout of your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, also your school and stuff. Like, Bubbles, what are some, I guess, because you're the generation that talagang you guys were introduced to the internet and parang learning how to navigate it on your own and also learning about it as from like resource from school and
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
What ano yung things na what are your observations of how people are moving on the internet now na parang you think are maybe you shouldn't do that?
Um, with with well, based on my observation, yung mga well, right now yung mga precautionary measures na ginagawa ng mga tao when posting on social media especially is that I think one of the things that had been reiterated over and over is that if you go to a place and you want to sort of memorialize your time in that place, don't post it right away kapag nandun
Yes.
ka pa. Parang you post it a few hours later pag wala ka na
Pag
doon,
nakaalis ka
or
na.
pag nakaalis ka na, or even a few days later, yung intayin mo na muna, parang may delayed gratification moment in social media. And I guess it's in kasi it also parang it is parallel to yung safety ng mga tao kasi you'll never know. Hindi mo na masasabi kung sino yung pwedeng sumunod sa'yo or kung sino yung pwedeng puntahan ka. I think I've seen this TikTok video a few days ago na parang what's the most extreme thing you did to get your crush's attention. There's this girl na sinundan niya yung crush niya going to this restaurant, tapos I mean pareho sila pumunta siya doon sa restaurant, nakita niya yung crush niya palabas ng restaurant, and then going to his car, and then this girl who followed the crush, talagang sinabayan niya sa road, tapos iniisip niya, i-crash ko kaya yung kotse ko sa kotse niya para mapansin niya, kasi hindi niya nakikita na sinusundan ko siya. Ganun ka-extreme. So, I mean, my gosh, wag sanang gawin yun ng mga tao. um, um, take the best precaution there is or out there, 'di ba? If you want to post something, if you've been to a place, a restaurant or a vacation, post na lang later on pag wala na kayo doon. I think that's the easiest part. Kasi hindi mo alam eh kung ano yung makakadali sa'yo.
That's yeah, I agree. Yung Instagram does not have to be instant.
Instant. Exactly,
Right?
exactly.
Instagram does
Mm-mm.
not have to be instant. Um, Also, I guess like apart from yung personal na safety, like watch out for other people also, right?
Mm-mm.
Parang
Mm-mm.
being part of the community means that you're looking out for the people around you, that you care about them. So parang Ed, what are some things that people should be looking out for in a Discord community, with the interactions that other people have, and like when do you know to report?
I mean, look, it's sad na when I interviewed this one person, sabi niya sa akin na every girl he's ever met on Discord has been groomed, or at least they know someone who's been groomed. So it definitely is an issue na should be taken up, talked about. These communities should definitely band together, community-based interventions. Uh, if someone starts acting fishy, tell the moderator.
Mm-mm.
What do I mean by fishy? Siguro, straight up creepy eh. Kasi nasa DMs din yun minsan, na nasa direct messaging na, uh, it's hard ano eh, to categorize it into a single phrase din. Kasi you will get the vibe that this person is seeking to manipulate me later on. So generally, that's the vibe that you want to look out for. Uh, Kasi also yung interview kasi sinabi niya din na there's two kinds of groomers. One is the one person who's going to try to act all nice at first, and then secondly, merong yung straight up na they're asking for these things for you. And then if you want to keep your community safe, let the moderator know. Pero at the same time, I also touched on this issue. Minsan, it's the server moderator themselves who's also the
Yeah.
groomer. Kasi they're
Yeah.
using their position of authority to uh, manipulate these people in the server. So, you know, yung nangyari dun sa case na yun, they overthrew the leadership of that server. When the community found out that it was the owner who was who was complicit in this, they overthrew the leadership. They mass left the server.
Server.
So, you know, just banding together with the community to prevent this and integrating a reporting mechanism. But also, it's a good note here that these relying solely on the community to combat these predators on the internet, it's very telling of the lack of mechanisms that we have uh, on the government side on
Right.
keeping people safe. Pangalawa, how are we in terms of keeping social media apps accountable to the damage that they're letting happen on their platforms. In a recent January 31 US Senate Judiciary Committee hearing, sinabi, I mean, senators, both Democrats and Republicans, banded together to grill these tech company CEOs. Discord, X, Meta, Snap. They all ask them, what are you doing? Tapos, siguro si Discord, let me also just point this out. Sabi ni Discord CEO, we also launched this teen safety assist to let teens know that if something's happening, they can report them. Tapos also, uh, we launched these in big servers. Tapos, how the senators reacted. Sabi na, well, Mr. Citron, if that were working, we wouldn't be here today. So also, the Philippines should also start joining this conversation, I think. Kasi this international conversation on holding social media accounts to account. Kasi uh, social media capital tayo. And maraming online users, and also this Discord e-dating, it's definitely something that's growing among my generation. I
Maraming
think,
really young, unregulated na
right?
users rin. People who don't, as it is, I think parents don't, I mentioned it earlier, parents don't check on what their kids are doing online. But
Yeah.
also, like, even really young kids under the age of 10 are getting access to the internet. So I think that this is something that the government really needs to crack down on, like,
Mhm.
holding these apps accountable and also, like, checking in. Ano bang ginagawa ng parents um, to rein in their kids.
Ako
So yeah,
to jump off
yeah,
lang
go
on
ahead.
what Ed mentioned, no, about the government not being fully involved in this, which they should be. I think I think a big chunk of this, or a big reason behind this, is because they're not they're not versed in these apps, and they should
Mm-mm.
be. I mean, even if they're part of the Gen X baby boomers generation, they should know the language, they should
Right.
know the platform, the interface, everything, in order for them to come up with certain regulations and restrictions, to fight and combat predatory people inside these apps. Kasi ako, I belong to several Discord servers. I'm the cool fun act. So I try to immerse myself in
I
these
love
kind.
that for you.
Thank you. Yeah, but I try to
Hey,
immerse myself in mga new and up and coming apps that are, that are popping out, and mahirap siya to grasp fully. I think in the servers that I'm in, and they are mostly mga pop culture servers like Game of Thrones and mga Germany servers na ganyan. Um, hindi ko siya fully manavigate, but I'm learning, and I get to talk to a lot of people. Most of them are in their early and late 20s. Most of them are. So talagang nandun yung mga Gen Z, Gen Alpha people. They're fully into that kind of ano. And hopefully, our government would have the awareness and the action plan, to spearhead some of these things.
malapit
Yeah,
na ang
just two quick points,
registration.
Ella. Uh,
Good.
you know, about dun sa parents' upbringing, this
Mm-mm.
is also something that showed up with my sociologist interview. Sabi niya, of course, we would have to also consider in the socioeconomic factors of the
Right.
Mm-hmm.
parents. Kasi sometimes, busy na talaga yung parents. So we'd have to understand that na minsan hindi talaga nila na-check yung kung ano nang ginagawa ng kanilang anak, dahil nga they're busy trying to make money for the family, right? So also it's more of yun nga, involve, as Bubbles mentioned, we would have the government really should involve itself in these conversations, and
Right.
speak more, have more conversations about how young people, or what young people are doing on the internet, and what their cultures are like, so they could craft better policies to protect them.
Right.
But on the lighter note of it, I did mention in the report, these risks can definitely scare people away from Discord e-dating, and it's valid to think that way. We just have to, I think, really equip ourselves with the knowledge of how to keep ourselves safe on the internet. Join forums, join fora, on
Right.
how to keep yourself safe on the internet. If you want to be safe, also try to engage yourself with a positive, friendly community who will look out for you. Create that space for them also. You have to create the space that you want for yourself and for them.
Mm-hmm.
So yun, that's two things. And three, join the conversation on holding our these social media accounts, social media applications to account. So I think those are three.
Those are really good responses, and also malapit na po ang susunod na halalan. for the youth.
Yes.
Yung mga Gen Z dyan na
Yung mga
nanonood sa
midterm
atin,
elections, yes,
may
that's right.
midterm
Yeah.
elections na, malapit ng registration period. So if you're a young person who
Mm-hmm.
advocates for this kind of internet safety, register kayo to vote. So, the conversation has gotten like a little bit dark as it does when you're talking about internet safety and, parang the worries that people have over internet dating. We're at 45 minutes. I know that a lot of people have other things to do. So, meron tayong last questions dito from YouTube from Siege. Okay. Ano ang mas nakakakilig? Seeing your crush randomly in the same Discord or seeing them in real life randomly in school or at the mall? Magiging debate to ng Gen Z at Gen X.
Correct. Oo. Oo.
Paano kung
Ako,
let's qualify this na you haven't met them in real life. Hindi ka pa nagpapakilala in real life, Ed. Pero like alam mo yung
hmm,
itsura nila. Nakita mo siya sa mall. Tapos kinilig ka. What are you supposed to do?
Well, sa
Parang
akin,
nahirapan siya.
well, I haven't been in that situation, pero um what I would do personally, I would hit their DMs right away. Hey, are
Now
you
na.
in?
Hi, are
Hey,
you
no, no.
at?
Hey, are you in? Ano, right now? I think I saw you. Is that you? Ha 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 ha. And then
damihan mo ng ha para hindi creepy.
yes, ha 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 ha. Create
Ha
that
ha
safe
ha,
space.
hindi hehe.
Oo, kasi if you just,
Oo.
Hindi hehe.
oh yes, hindi hehe. Kasi if you, that's another debate. Ha
That's
ha
another
versus
thing.
hehe.
Oo. Oo.
So yun, just are you in the same space right now? Ha 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 ha. And then if they want to meet up, oh yun.
Oo.
Oh,
I like that. Like asking for consent to introduce yourself to them. Kasi, di ba, parang I feel like online it might not be, but if you know each other online, it might not be the right time for me to meet you ngayon. I
yes,
could be in my
exactly.
errands clothes, my do
Yeah.
not perceive me clothes, tapos magpapakilala sa akin. Don't. Please don't.
Yeah.
Consent always. Yan, napakahalaga niyan.
Mm-mm. That's right.
Okay. I-alter ko to yung, I'm gonna edit Siege's question a little bit. Ano ang mas nakakakilig? A very sweet typed na message or a very sweet VM, voice message?
A very long
Very
message or
sweetly written
Text
text
message.
or
Mm-mm.
voice message?
I think we have a term for that. I think it's called LSM, long sweet message.
What is that?
Mm.
I'm old. What is
Yun.
that? Long sweet
Explain, Ed.
message,
Explain.
long sweet message na typed or na
Na,
binoise
na,
record niya.
na voice.
I mean, depende sa tao kung mas trip nilang magbasa ng napakahabang message with emojis, or kung gusto nila marinig yung boses, pwede rin.
Mm-mm.
Kasi sometimes some people like yung long message, 'di ba? But
Mm.
also it has turned into a meme actually. Yung long sweet message na yan, they send templates of it to their friends and then they uy, nag long sweet message ka na naman, 'di ba? So napakahabang just making fun of that concept of long sweet message. Kasi nga again, it's not for everyone this long sweet message. Some people, they get the notification, napakahaba ng notification. Okay. And then they just it
Hey,
takes so much
reply.
of their energy like how am I going to respond to this?
Right. Are you the type ba who messages yung mga ganon, yung pira-piraso? Or yung block,
Tingi.
yung parang hello story type na parang nobela?
I tend to just not make other people anxious, really. So,
Mm-mm.
depende kung mas gusto nila yung napakahabang message or kasi I want to consider,
May,
are you going
may
to feel
message
anxious if
ako
I send
dito.
this message, di ba?
May
Right,
message ako
right.
dito. Ang alam kong LSM ay Lourdes School of
School of
Mandaluyong.
Mandaluyong. Oo nga
Okay,
naman.
so,
Oo,
Ed,
oo nga
ikaw,
naman.
text,
No,
long
ako,
sweet message
ako
na
voice
text?
voice message. I think
Voice,
voice
Voice
okay.
message.
message.
Ikaw
Ako,
ba, voice?
Ako, well, depends. It depends on sino kausap ko. And depends din kung how much time I have. Kasi I
Mm-mm.
do have these things called the bobcast. Kapag kunwari tinatamad ako magkwento sa group of friends ko in a certain group chat,
Ichichismis mo na lang through record.
ichichit ka via voice. So, yung tipong, alam niyo ba, na si ano, oo, galing ako sa ganito. Ay, hindi ko naman maintindihan. Yung mga ganon. Tapos, ang haba-haba. Tapos, yung ginagawa ko na lang para hindi sila makonsume. Dinidelete ko na lang after. Pero yeah, it depends on who I'm speaking with. Katulad ni Ed, if I try to discern whether or not, kung kunwari, isang block of message ba yung ibibigay ko dito sa taong to, or
Mm-mm.
is this the type of person na kahit na yung one or two lines lang yung lumalabas, yung kapag may mga balloon hindi siya nasa-stress. Kasi may mga ganun na mga tao na kapag nakikita mo yung balloon
Yung
thing
dot,
na
dot, dot.
yung dot, di ba, oh my gosh, ano ba
Oh
yung
my
sarili?
gosh, yung dot dot
It's
Hi
dot.
Ella,
typing.
type. Tapos
Oh, I
dot,
hate
dot,
that.
dot. Hi Ella. So, may mga ganun. Ako nade-determine ko agad doon sa kausap ko kung sino. So, it depends on who I speak with or talk to.
Ako, alam kong we're building a world that listens dito sa podcast. Alam kong we're building a world that listens. Pero ako, parang mas gusto kong text. It's like the equivalent of somebody writing you a letter. Parang
That's
they
true.
really took the time to like type it out, to like proofread it. Tama ba yung pagkasabi ko dito? Ganyan. Parang syempre there's merit in like rambling, na kinikilig ka, and you just express it straight away, right? But for me, I like the idea of having something that I can go back to quietly and like
Right.
gusto kong kiligin in that way.
Mm-mm.
Mga nanonood dyan sa YouTube, paki-comment na lang kung may preference kayo. Long, sweet
Or
message na text.
i-overanalyze mo yung mga
Oo,
sinabi
pwede
mo
ko siya
for fun.
overanalyze kung bored ka.
Bored ka. Paano kaya niya to sinabi yung I like you? Diba?
Is
Paano
it
kaya niya to sinabi?
I
I
like
like
you
you
or
or
I
I
like you?
like you?
Yeah,
Exactly.
so, yan. Ikaw, Bobbles, may maisip ka bang intriga questions dyan? Bilang
Ako
isang,
siguro, dahil sa Discord, no, I've navigated through several servers. I haven't fully, consumed everything. Nade-deep fake ba ang mga Discord servers? I mean, during like kasi alam ko di ba may mga streams yon, parang you do streams, kunwari, magmo-movie. Meron kasing time na doon sa Game of Thrones server that I am a member of, we would rewatch certain episodes of Game of Thrones together. So, and while doing so, syempre nakikita namin yung mga icons ng mga isa't isa, yung mga nakikinood during the streams. Is it possible in a Discord server to deep fake your look or yung itsura mo? Or hindi naman? Hindi yun, wala yun sa capabilities.
To deep fake your look. So is it in the sense of catfishing? Ganon?
Yeah, well, short of using another person's likeness or photo, tapos yung gagamitin mo while you're doing the
tapos
stream.
gumagalaw yung
Tapos gumagalaw. Kasi di ba ang dami na ngayon?
Oh,
Ang dami na
I
ngayon
see.
mga deepfake AI, well, yeah.
I mean, it's something that's definitely possible with technology
Mhm.
today. But personally, I haven't seen that kasi I think that's something so ano ang dami mong extra steps na kailangan gawin to just
Kailangan gawin.
accomplish that.
Right, right,
Pero
right.
yeah.
right, that's a red flag right there to just go through I mean, it's not really a red flag. It's more of also keeping yourself safe. If
Mhm.
if you're someone who considers data privacy a lot, you might want to
Right.
do that also. But also, if you want to do that in the context of grooming, napaka red flag talaga nun. Kung
Yeah,
ano, diba?
definitely,
So,
definitely.
deepfake, yes, and anything's possible with technology nowadays.
Mhm.
Right.
And also, one more, Ella, one more,
Okay.
just to meron na bang success stories in these mga Discord e-dating stuff?
Parang
Whew.
magandang episode na gawin yan.
Diba? I
Ed,
mean,
next,
we have to
next
lighten the
episode mo.
mood a little bit before we end kasi, diba?
Meron na bang successful?
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, it's not just limited to Discord. You've also seen
Mm-hmm.
Tinder love stories. You've seen Bumble love stories that have been successful. So, you know, it e-date I just want to say this, the e-dating, it's not a new phenomenon really, and it's something in my generation at least, it's so common, it's not weird to talk about at least. Oh, I met this person on Discord. Most siguro, I don't have the numbers, pero most would be like, that's pretty normal. So nothing to be weirded out about that you met your partner on Discord. So again, it just requires a lot of trust and communication, and what part of that communication involving your partner in activities on Discord. Ano ba yung mga activities na pwede mong isama sila sa Discord? Movie nights, sleep
Mhm.
calls, or halimbawa, just leaving them on call while you're doing something. I think just making them feel that your presence is there. That's one sure way. How about you, Ella? What do you think?
I feel like so nerd time, my thesis was about how Gen Z maintained relationships with their friends throughout lockdown. So
Okay.
nag-interview kami ng friends, pairs of friends who knew each other before the lockdown, and then we asked them like 1 year in, how do you maintain your closeness? And something that they're really looking for is parang um, a substitute for yung non-verbal cues. Things like yung something very Filipino that came out a lot in our study is yung kapag magkasama kayo ng friends mo, tapos maghahampasan kayo.
Mm.
So when something is super funny, you're like, ano ba yan? Hit them. It's very like
Yes, I
Filipino love
agree.
language,
Yeah.
right? And that's
Yeah.
something that you can't replicate on
Online.
Discord.
Mhm.
And also like, pero I think yung one thing about Discord that I like, or parang a feature that came out a lot as something that Gen Z prefers, is how in real time it is. Napakahalaga ng in real time interaction para sa kanila. Kasi when you're, kunwari may chismis ka, may life update kang nakakakilig, you don't want to like send them a voice message explaining what happened. Tapos 10 hours later ka na re-replyan. You need that instant reaction for them for it to be exciting,
Mhm.
and para so they can be excited with you. Hindi yung delayed, there's still gratification, but delayed gratification is not as fun when it's about getting kilig or getting inis, right? That's something that's really important to them. And also, parang emojis are not sufficient sa kanila. Parang iba yung being able to see the expression on your friend's face, um, rather than just like sending an emoji. It's different. It's different. So parang for me, my ending realization throughout from this discussion about parang e-dating is maybe it's not for me. It's not for me. I need the nonverbal cues. I need to hear it in your voice all the time, or I need to be able to like remember how you look saying it, or parang having those quality time moments. But also, I can see, um, as a believer in red string theory, maybe your soulmate is in another time zone, in another country, and you find them on Discord. That's entirely possible. So parang I hope I hope a lot more people get more or become more open minded to this kind of relationship building, whether it's romantic or building friendships with them. Yeah, that's dapat may Discord success stories na sequel yung episode ni Ed.
Yeah,
Na
oo nga.
I would listen to that all day. So ikaw,
Exactly.
sige, we have a couple minutes left. May last reflections ba kayo before we close this stream?
Your bubbles can go
Ako,
ahead.
yeah, eldest first. Joke. Hindi, sige, ako siguro, in love and in dating, it doesn't matter where you find it or with whom. For as long as you're your authentic self and you build that trust and you build that relationship in honesty and with a little bit of fun and a little bit of everything else, then I think you're good. Whether it's from a Discord or any other avenue for that matter. For as long as, yun nga, you have mutual respect and you I think yung mga basic foundations of love and of dating are there, regardless of what platform you use, 'di ba? At the end of the day, that's what's important. Communication is key, of course, and comprehension is also very, very important. Kasi it's one thing to communicate, it's another thing to understand what the other person actually said, 'di ba? And what they meant by what they said. So yeah, that's for me.
Sa akin, I think my reflection, dun din sa sinabi ni Ella na sometimes, it's not for these people, not for these people, it's for these people naman. It's not for everyone. Sometimes it is for everyone. So I think, just let's try to keep an open mind about it. And, because as technology changes, norms will change, but also try to keep that safety as well. Try to keep in mind yung safety aspect pa rin always wherever you go. Kasi the internet can still be very much it's still a very much dangerous place. So keep yourself safe out there. But also, um, don't, it's not, it's, it's going to be a fun experience if you go into it with an open heart, an open mind. Tapos as for the nonverbal cues nga, there are interactions that you also can't uh, you also can't have in real life that you will only have on Discord. So these are moments na uh, siguro yung paghahampas, something that's limited to the physical. Siguro on Discord, what would you have? Screaming into the pillow. And then having them hear that, diba? So there are definitely interactions that you can use to make the experience more fun. So yeah.
Right.
Right. Okay. So we've hit 1 hour here on our little live stream. I hope hindi kayo masyadong natakot sa stories that we told about, safety and what have you. But I hope that if you didn't get the chance to celebrate Valentine's Day yesterday, you can, come out of the stream with like an open mind and, find, your own ways of finding love online or in person. So I want to invite you guys to listen to Teka Teka News. Like we mentioned, Ed has 2 stories out ngayon that came out no Monday and today that you can find on your favorite podcast app. We are going to be back on live streams. Si Sir Robby naman, ang babalik dito, hindi na ako. Next week with a very special stream. So check that out. Last CTA, if you've made it this far, mag-share kayo ng kilig stories niyo sa comments para mabasa naman namin if kapag binalikan namin yung space na to. So I have been Ella from the comms team and we've been joined by Bubbles and Ed. So thank you for joining us and I hope to see you back here on YouTube Live for our next one.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Happy Single Awareness Day.
Yun.
Yun final word.